Evangeline, I hope the $1,500 I give you every month has made your life easier. The deep and calm voice came from my grandfather. He was sitting at the far end of the long dinner table. It was Thanksgiving Day, a day when families usually eat together and feel warm and happy. But before I continue, hit the subscribe button and tell me where are you watching this from, and what time of day is it? My grandfather was a very busy man. He was a successful businessman who always traveled and worked. Because of this, he almost never came to family dinners or holidays. Most of the time, he did not even show his face at family events. But this year was different. For some reason, he decided to come to Thanksgiving dinner. Because he came, my father, Dorian Brooks, my mother, Karen Brooks, and my younger sister, Isolde, were acting very strange. They were smiling too much. They spoke very politely. They kept checking my grandfather's face to see if he was happy. It felt like they were not welcoming family, but welcoming someone very important like a king or queen. The table was filled with expensive food. There was a big turkey cooked perfectly. The mashed potatoes had fancy mushrooms called truffles mixed inside. There was also a bottle of old wine from the year my grandfather was born. The house smelled warm and tasty, full of food and spices. My family laughed loudly, trying to look cheerful and loving. Seeing my grandfather again made me happy. I had not seen him for a very long time. To be honest, ever since I left this house, I never came back for Thanksgiving. I did not plan to come this year either. I wanted to stay away. But my grandfather personally invited me. He said gently, "I will come this year. So, Evangeline, you come with me." I could not say no to him. So that day, for the first time in many years, I stepped back into this house. But even though everything looked perfect, it did not feel good. The smiles felt fake. The laughter felt forced. My family's kindness did not feel real. It made my chest feel tight and uncomfortable. While my father and mother tried hard to keep my grandfather happy, they kept looking at me. Their eyes sent a clear message. They were warning me not to say anything strange. Not to talk about the past. Not to cause trouble. After everyone finished eating the main meal, the plates were cleared away. Pumpkin pie was brought out, along with hot coffee. The pie smelled sweet and warm. Slowly, everyone seemed to relax a little. The tight feeling in the room became softer. Then my grandfather gently placed his coffee cup back onto the plate. He lifted his head and looked straight at me. His eyes were kind. They were full of worry and care for me, his granddaughter, whom he had not seen in such a long time. "Evangeline," he said softly, "haven't you lost some weight? Are you feeling okay? You shouldn't work so hard or push yourself too much." His gentle words made my heart loosen a little. I smiled at him as best as I could. "Thank you, Grandpa," I said. "I'm doing well. If you want, you can visit my place sometime." My grandfather smiled and nodded. "Ah, I would love that very much." Then he asked another question. "Have you gotten used to living alone? Being independent is not easy." He spoke like it was just normal conversation. But then he paused, as if he suddenly remembered something important. "Well," he continued, "as long as you have enough money, living alone is easier. With the money I send you every month, you don't need to worry about rent. Your life should be easier now, right?" The room froze. The sound of forks and spoons stopped. Everyone stopped moving. Every pair of eyes turned to me. I felt very small, sitting quietly at the corner of the table. I was shocked. I was confused. My head felt empty. I did not understand what he was talking about. "What are you talking about, Grandpa?" I asked. My voice sounded weak in the silent room. Before my grandfather could answer, my father spoke quickly. "Oh, about that money," my father said. "You don't need to worry." He spoke fast and forced a smile. Sweat appeared on his forehead, but he did not wipe it away. "Evangeline is a bit naive," my father continued. "She doesn't understand money very well, so we took care of it for her." Those words made my grandfather's face darken. "Took care of it?" my grandfather asked in a low voice. Then he looked directly at my father. "If this money is for Evangeline," he said, "why does she look like she knows nothing about it?" He pointed his finger slightly at me. "Show me proof," he said firmly. "Right now. Show me that my money is really being used for this child." My father opened his mouth, but no words came out. My mother suddenly spoke up, her voice shaking as if she were crying. "Dad," she said, "how can you be so cruel? You know how worried we are about Evangeline. She has always been difficult. We only wanted to protect her." My grandfather raised his hand. "Be quiet, Karen," he said sharply. "You were the one who begged me for help." The room felt cold. 5 winters ago," he continued, "you called me late at night. Your voice was shaking. You said Evangeline left home and was sick. You said you were worried she could not live alone. I believed you, he said. I believed you cared about your daughter. That is why I sent the money. Then tell me, he said loudly. Why does she not even know about it? My mother's face turned white. She could not speak. Suddenly, Isolde stood up. Grandpa, stop it, she shouted. You're going too far. She turned and glared at me. Evangeline, you're always like this, she said angrily. You only think about yourself. You don't know how hard Mom and Dad worked for you. Even if you got the money, she continued, you would just waste it on medicine or stupid things. That's why Mom and Dad handled it for you. That was the moment everything broke inside me. Isolde knew the truth. She had always known. She helped them lie. That's a lie, I whispered. Everyone looked at me. Liar, I said louder. My hands were shaking. My heart was pounding. I never said I wanted to leave, I said. You told me to leave. You abandoned me. My mother cried loudly. That's terrible, she screamed. Your illness is making your memories wrong. My father glared at me. That's right, he said. We won't accept your lies anymore. Something inside me snapped. My memories are not wrong, I said calmly. I remember everything. I remember the night you threw me out, I continued. It was cold. I had nowhere to go. I remember who saved me. I looked at them. I ran to Maris's house, I said. She took care of me for 2 weeks. Her parents remember it too. They were angry and asked how parents could throw their child out in winter. If you want, I said, I can call Maris right now. My mother froze. I had no money, I continued. My paycheck disappeared on rent, food, and medicine. When I was desperate, I said, I worked night shifts at a diner. I remembered the smell of grease, the pain in my body, counting coins to survive. And while I was suffering, I asked, what were you doing? I looked around the house. The kitchen is new. The fridge is new. There's a new car outside. When I begged you for help, I said, you said you had no money. So tell me, I finished quietly, where did all this money come from? My parents looked at each other. Their eyes were wide. They were scared. They moved their mouths like they wanted to talk. But no words came out. It was like their thoughts were stuck inside. They whispered to each other in panic. They tried to think of excuses. But nothing good came to mind. Then I turned my head and looked at Isolde. And I said, that is not all. Last summer something happened. All 3 of you went on a trip. You went to Hawaii. You went there to celebrate Isolde finishing high school. I know this is true. I saw it on Instagram. Isolde, I saw your pictures. You were on the beach. You were smiling and laughing. You looked happy. You looked like you were having the best time of your life. When I said this, Isolde's face turned bright red. She looked very embarrassed. She spoke quickly and said, that is only because you were sick. You could not travel anyway. She tried to say more. She tried to make another excuse. But Grandpa was staring at her. His eyes were cold. They did not blink. Because of his stare, Isolde stopped talking. She swallowed her words. She looked down at the floor. She felt ashamed. She knew she was part of the lie. Grandpa watched everything quietly. He did not shout. He did not move. He watched the fight like a statue. His face showed no feeling. After a long moment he spoke. That is enough, he said. His voice was calm, but it was strong. Everyone stopped talking. The room became quiet. Grandpa reached into his pocket. He pulled out his smartphone. This surprised everyone. No one knew what he was about to do. He started making a phone call. The room became very silent. Everyone held their breath. Grandpa said into the phone, it's me. I'm sorry to call you on Thanksgiving. I need something right now. Please send me the full record of the money I sent every month. I sent money from my account to Karen's account. I want the records from 5 years ago until now. Please send it as a PDF to my email right away. I need to check it here. I need to check it now. His voice was quiet, but it was very powerful. It was the kind of voice that did not accept no for an answer. My father jumped up and shouted, wait! What are you doing? But Grandpa did not answer him. He only looked at him coldly. The room was silent again. The only sound was the clock on the wall. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Time felt very slow. Then Grandpa's phone vibrated. It made a soft sound. An email had arrived. Grandpa put on his glasses. He opened the email. He started reading the file slowly. He scrolled down the screen. His face did not change. After a moment he looked up. Then he spoke. His words were sharp. They felt like knives cutting the air. The money was sent on the 3rd day of every month, he said. The money went to Karen's personal bank account. The amount was $1,500. And in the note section it clearly says this. Evangeline's monthly support. He stopped talking for a second. Then he held his phone out toward my parents. It was like he was showing proof. For 5 years, he said, I send this money every month. 60 times. Not one month was missed. I gave this money because I wanted to help Evangeline. But Evangeline did not know about this money. She never got it. Not once in 5 years. Then Grandpa looked straight at my parents. So tell me, he said. Dorian, Karen, where did my $90,000 go? The number hung in the air. $90,000. It felt very heavy, like a big rock falling into the room. This was not a small amount. It was too big to explain away. My father looked sick. His face was pale. My mother started crying. She covered her face. Their cheeks turned red. They were full of shame. There was nothing they could say. No lie could fix this. The room was silent again. My father finally spoke. But he did not explain. He did not defend himself. He only said one word. I'm sorry. That one word said everything. Grandpa closed his eyes for a moment. He shook his head slowly. He stood up from his chair. He did not look at them again. He walked over to me. He gently placed his hand on my shoulder. Let's go, Evangeline, he said. There is no reason to stay here. I nodded. I stood up. We walked toward the door. We did not look back. My parents and my sister stayed behind. They looked frozen. That was how Thanksgiving ended. The next weekend, Grandpa called me. He asked me to come to his house. I went to see him. We sat in his study. He sat on a big leather sofa. When he saw me, he sighed deeply. I'm sorry, Evangeline, he said. I should have found out the truth sooner. This is my fault too. His voice sounded heavy. He felt bad. I shook my head. I never doubted them, Grandpa continued. But a month ago, Lucian visited me. Lucian was my mother's younger brother. He was my uncle. Grandpa remembered their talk. Lucian said he went to dinner at Karen's house, Grandpa said. He said it felt like a movie star's house. My mother showed off the house, Grandpa explained. She invited Lucian's family to see the new kitchen. The floor was made of marble from Italy. The fridge was very expensive. Lucian was confused. He said, Dorian's job is not that good. Where did all this money come from? He asked me if I was secretly giving them extra money. Grandpa sighed again. When I heard that, he said, I felt scared. I was giving money. But it was for you. What if they were taking it for themselves? That thought made everything make sense. That is when I realized the truth. I should have checked sooner. I thought I was helping you. But I let you suffer for 5 years. I shook my head again. You don't need to say sorry, Grandpa, I said. If you didn't speak up, I might never know. I am thankful to you. Then I told him something I never said before. When I was kicked out of the house, I said, I had no help. I knew I could not rely on my family. So I decided to become strong. Very strong. I built armor around my heart. I worked every day and night. I studied business even when it hurt. 3 years ago, I started my own small company. Grandpa's eyes grew wide. At first, it was very hard, I said. I had only small jobs. I almost gave up many times. But I did not stop. Now my business is growing. I can take care of myself. I don't need help anymore. I looked out the window. I lost many things along the way, I said. But I gained strength. A strength that is mine alone. No one can take it. Grandpa listened quietly. When I finished, he nodded. I am proud of you, he said. You became strong on your own. His eyes were wet with tears. Then his face became serious. But what Dorian and Karen did is wrong, he said. They stole from you. They lived well while you struggled. This is not just a family problem. This is a crime. They must face the law. But I need your permission. Evangeline, he asked. What do you want to do? I nodded. I agree, I said. They must face the truth. Grandpa nodded once more. Then we act, he said. No mercy. He took out his phone again. He made a call. The person answered quickly. Alaric, Grandpa said. I need you to work on a case. This is a lawsuit. The people are Dorian Brooks and Karen Brooks. The crime is stealing money. The victim is my granddaughter. The amount is $90,000. Find everything. Bank records. Credit cards. The house. The car. Get proof. Proceed. The call ended. And justice began. Prepare the complaint as soon as possible and place it right on their doorstep. When the phone call ended, Grandpa slowly put his smartphone down on the table. The room became very quiet. The ticking sound of the wall clock felt loud. Grandpa did not smile. He did not frown. His face looked calm, but his eyes were serious and strong. He turned to look at me and spoke with a steady voice. "Alaric is the lawyer I trust more than anyone," Grandpa said. "He is honest. He is careful. He knows the law very well. He will take care of everything and do it the right way." Grandpa paused for a moment and then nodded to himself. "With this," he said, "the choice has been made." That moment felt very important. It felt like a door had closed behind us and another door had opened in front of us. We could not go back anymore. Our feelings were no longer just feelings. They were now part of the law. And so, our decision began to move forward. It became real. It was written on paper. It had rules and consequences. It was no longer something people could ignore. About 1 month later, something happened. My phone suddenly started ringing very loudly. It shook on the table. The sound was sharp and fast. I picked it up and looked at the screen. 3 letters appeared. "Mom." I felt my chest tighten. My fingers felt stiff. I did not want to answer. I let the phone ring until it stopped. But it rang again. And again. And again. The sound would not stop. It felt like the phone was begging me to answer. Finally, after taking a deep breath, I pressed the answer button. The moment I answered, my ears were filled with crying. My mother was sobbing loudly. Her voice was shaking and sharp at the same time. It hurt to listen to. "Evangeline, please," she cried. "Please talk to Grandpa. Please tell him to stop the lawsuit." She took a breath and cried again. "We are so sorry," she said. "We really are. We know we did wrong. We are thinking about everything." Her voice became desperate. "If this continues, we will lose everything," she said. "Please, Evangeline. I am begging you." I listened quietly. When I heard her crying and using the word family, something strange happened inside me. My heart did not feel warm. It did not feel soft. It felt cold and still, like ice that does not melt. When I spoke, my voice did not sound like my own. It was calm. It was clear. There was no emotion in it. "Repenting?" I asked. "Is this how someone who is truly sorry acts?" She stopped crying for a moment. There was silence on the line. "You are asking for help because we are family," I continued. "I cannot believe you are saying that. You are not crying because you regret what you did to me. You are crying because you are afraid of losing your comfortable life. You are afraid of losing your money and your image." She was quiet for a second. It sounded like the truth had hit her very hard. Then she began talking fast. No, she said. "That is not true. We really are thinking about what we did. We can talk it through. We can fix this." "Talk it through?" I asked calmly. "It is too late for that. Grandpa called the lawyer because you lied to me for 5 years," I said. "You ignored my pain. You used money meant for me to live, and you spent it on expensive things for yourselves. This cannot be fixed with words anymore. This is the result of your own choices." She cried again. "Evangeline," she said, "how can you take your own family to court?" Her voice sounded full of sadness, but not for me. It was sadness for herself. Hearing that, something painful inside my chest finally came out. It was something I had carried for a very long time. "Do you remember 2 years ago?" I asked. "I called you while crying. I told you I could not afford the money to renew my apartment. I was scared. I had nowhere to go. I needed help more than anything. I felt ashamed to ask. But I still begged you." I paused. "Do you remember what you said to me?" She did not answer. "You told me to handle my own problems," I said. "You told me to stop depending on you. You told me not to expect you to help me. Then you hung up the phone." I heard her breathe in sharply. She stayed silent. That silence told me everything. "So now," I said quietly, "I will give those same words back to you. Handle your own problems." Then I ended the call. Her crying scream was cut off in the middle of a word. Right after that, my phone began buzzing nonstop. A message came from Dorian. "You ungrateful child," he wrote. "Who do you think raised you?" Another message came from Isolde. "You are a terrible person," she wrote. "I cannot believe you are suing your own family." I looked at the messages without feeling anything. I did not reply. One by one, I blocked their numbers. Then the trial began. The courtroom was cold and quiet. The ceiling was very high. Every sound echoed loudly, even the judge clearing his throat. My parents sat across from me. They looked very different from how they used to look. Dorian's shoulders were slumped. His suit looked too big, like it was weighing him down. Karen stared at nothing, her face pale and tired. Isolde sat beside them. She no longer looked confident. Her head was down. Her hands were shaking. I felt calm. Grandpa sat beside me. His presence made me feel safe. Alaric sat next to him, quiet and focused. Alaric stood up and began speaking clearly. He showed the judge papers from the bank. Month by month. One after another. 60 months. That was 5 years. Each month, money went from Grandpa's account into Karen's personal account. On every paper, the note said the same thing. Evangeline's monthly rent. Then Alaric showed more papers. Karen's bank records. Just days after the money arrived, it was used to pay for car loans, credit cards, vacations, and expensive things. There was no record of any money being sent to me. Not once. The other lawyer tried to defend them. He said it was just family helping family. He said no one meant to hurt anyone. Alaric answered firmly. If there was no bad intent, he said, then explain this. They hid the truth. They lied. They used money meant for Evangeline to survive. They refused to help her when she begged. Where is the kindness in this? The courtroom became silent. Everyone understood the truth. The judge spoke in a calm voice. Dorian Brooks and Karen Brooks are guilty, he said. They took money that did not belong to them. They must return $90,000. They must also pay interest. The hammer hit the table with a loud sound. That sound felt like the end of a long and painful chapter. Months later, the money was placed into my bank account. Every dollar came back. I used some of it to buy Grandpa a gift to thank him. The rest I saved and used to build my future. That money was no longer just money. It was proof. Proof that I mattered. Proof that I was wronged. Proof that my dignity was returned. Later, Grandpa told me what happened to them. They sold their house. They sold their car. They sold everything they once showed off. Now they live in a small old apartment. Isolde works at a supermarket. Their world fell apart because it was built on lies. When I heard this, I did not feel happy. I did not feel proud. I felt quiet. It is fine now, I said. My life belongs to me. Grandpa smiled gently. And I walked forward into a new life where no one could ever use me again.